So the problem, the time delay period is given. We need to calculate the initial value of the timer. For that, you have to divide the time period by 1.085 microsecond and subtract that value from the maximum timer count value. And after subtracting that, convert that value into hexadecimal and load that value into corresponding your timer higher order and lower order register. Okay. And also we have learned about how to generate large number of, that is large amount of time delay. For that, to generate 1 second time delay, so 1 second can be calculated multiplying 200 by 5 millisecond. For 5 millisecond alone, we need to calculate the initial value. Okay, to repeat the values, that is after loading this value, we have to repeat the loop for 200 times, so that we will get 1 second delay. So in this way, we can generate large amount of delay using timers. Okay. And also we have discussed about timer mode 0 operation and 8-bit auto reload operation, and we have done some problems related to the mode 2. So next we will see how to represent negative numbers in the 8051, that is timer instruction set. 8051 timer instruction set. Okay. So do you have any doubts in the previous topics? That is your initial value calculation and delay calculation. Do you have any doubts? So shall we move on to the next?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. And in 8051 instruction set, we have a provision of representing the negative number in the instruction. Okay. So look at the first statement. Move th1 comma hash 200. So this 200 is the negative number. So assume that we are programming the timer for mode 2. So what is the maximum count for mode 2? What is the maximum timer count? So what is the maximum timer count for mode 2? 256 is the 56 is the maximum count. Okay. So this minus 200 representing that is the value was a product of the instruction. This 200 is subtracted from the maximum count of the timer, and the 56 is loaded into TH. Okay. So the advantage of using negative value is that you don't need to calculate the value loaded into higher order register. So that is the concept. So instead of calculating the value from the maximum value, it is directly loading this 56 into TH1. We can represent minus 200. Instead of 56, we can represent minus 200. So look at this example, minus 200. So the hexadecimal representation of 200 is C8. Okay. So find out the 2's complement of C8. Please do it. So the given problem, move TH1 comma minus 200. So which means this value was subtracted from the maximum value. So the negative form is given in the instruction. How this instruction will calculate the original value means, first this value is converted into hexadecimal, the value is C8, which means minus C8. Okay, so we need to calculate the 2's complement. What is the binary for C8? 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 0. Okay, so convert into ones complement 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So add with 1, what is the answer? 0 0 0 1. Okay, 1 1 0 0. So this is the 2's complement answer for this particular value. So 38 is the answer. So first decimal, convert this 200 into hex. So what is the equivalent value, hexadecimal value? C8. Okay. So we need to calculate 2's complement for the C8 value. So after 2's complement, I am getting 38. Okay. So the exact decimal for 38 is 56. So minus 200 means, so what the particular instruction will do is, this minus 200 is directly subtracted from the maximum value of the timer. Okay. So this 30 after execution, this 38 is loaded into TH1. So this is the one way of loading your values into your timer registers. Is that clear? See, instead of loading 38, I can directly specify minus 200. Students? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So can you do the next problem? Move TH0, hash minus 60. So find out the answer. So what is the answer? What is the first step? Subtract 60 from 256. What is the answer?
196.
இப்போ நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா first you calculate, first you convert 60 into hexadecimal. Okay, அதுக்கப்புறம் you can so you have to calculate 2's complement for that particular number, find out that value, load that value into TH now. So what is the 2's complement of 60? What is the 2's complement of 60? Students,
3C.
be interactive. Be interactive. Put your answers in the chat box.
3C, ma'am.
3C. Okay. So 3C க்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும்? minus 60 க்கு 2's complement எடுத்தா என்ன வேல்யூ வருது பாருங்க.
C4 ma'am.
C4. 2's complement form is C4. So after execution, so this value C4 is loaded into your TH naught. Okay. See, minus 60 abdina, it is subtracted. Decimal solra. Please listen. 256 minus 60. That is the meaning. What is the answer? 196. Okay. So the equivalent hexadecimal value is C4. So after execution, C4 is loaded into TH naught. Is that clear? Students are able to follow. And next move TH1 comma hash minus 3. Okay. So you subtract this value from 256, you will be getting 253. So the hexadecimal equivalent is FD. Okay. Instead of loading FD, you can directly subtract the value. Using this instruction, we can represent negative numbers. So if minus 3 is the your value. So that value is subtracted from 256. So minus 3 we can represent. So that is the inference. So how many clock cycles are required for this case? To set the overflow flag, move TH comma hash minus 3. What would be your initial value? So what is your initial value?
FD, ma'am.
FD 253 is the initial value. So how many clock pulses are required? 3 clock pulses are required to set your overflow flag. புரிஞ்சுதுங்களா? அதே மாதிரி minus 200 அப்படின்னா 56 clock cycles are required. Similarly, minus 12 அப்படின்னா 256 minus 12. What is the answer? 244. F4 is the initial value. F4 is the initial value. So 12 clock cycles are required to set your overflow flag status. Okay. And next one, 48. So this 48 is subtracted from 256. So this would be your initial value. D naught is the initial value. So in this way, we can represent the negative form in the 8051 instruction. Instead of loading this value, you can directly load this minus 3, minus 60 or minus 12, minus 48. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, you calculate the frequency of the square wave for this code. Please do it. First, find out the initial value of the timer. Multiply that value by 1.085 microsecond. Okay. And considering high period and low period, so here they have incorporated 2 call instruction. They have called the routine delay routine 2 times. That is 66% duty cycle. So find out the answer. So how many clock cycles are required to set your overflow flag?
106, ma'am.
106 கிடையாது. That is the confusion. இப்ப பாத்தீங்கன்னா you are subtracting 150 from 256. So எது வரைக்கும் போகும் பாருங்க. The answer will be 150 clock cycles. So that is the inference. இப்ப நீங்க என்ன போடுறீங்களோ this much amount of clock cycles are required to set your overflow flag. 150 clock cycles are required. See, in this program, T mod is loaded with 02, which means your timer 0 is operating in mode 2. And 150 minus 150 is loaded into higher order register. Since your timer is running in mode 2, we have to load the initial value into timer higher order register. For square wave generation, they have used this P1.3 for toggling P1.3. So set bit P1.3, 2 times the delay routine is called, okay, and clear P1.3 and 1 time delay routine is called and repeat the process, okay. So in the delay routine, the logic is once after setting your P1.3, you have to start the timer, monitor the overflow flag continuously. When overflow flag is set to 1, stop the timer, clear the overflow flag and return back to the main program. So that is the logic involved in your delay. So we are not using any count register here. Your timer concepts will be involved in your delay routine. You have to start the timer, monitor the overflow flag. Once the overflow flag is set to 1, stop the timer and clear the overflow flag. So these 4 steps are mandatory to activate your timer operations. Start the timer, monitor the overflow flag. Flag is set, stop the timer, clear the overflow. So they have written common routine. After toggling, every time this delay routine will be called. So your high portion is twice that of the low portion. 66% duty cycle. So on time 66%, off time 33%. So what is the answer? சொல்லுங்க யாராவது ஒருத்தவங்க சொல்லுங்கப்பா. மொல்லமா போயிட்டு இருக்கோம், எப்ப முடிப்போம்னு தெரியல. அது தப்பா இருந்தாலும் சொல்லுங்க, அது கரெக்ட். Otherwise, I will call out the roll numbers. If you are not interacting, I will call out your roll numbers randomly. Can you understand the problem? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So how many of you didn't understand? Raise your hand. I will explain one more time. See, 150 minus 150 means this much amount of clock cycles are required, okay, to reach the maximum value, okay. So minus 150 is given in the problem. So microcontroller subtract this value from 256. What is the answer?
106.
106. So this is your initial value of timer. What is the hexadecimal value for 106?
68. 68.
68.
A ma'am.
Okay.
A, ma'am.
68. Okay. So this value must be loaded into your higher order list. Once timer gets started, so this will be your initial value. So your counter will start the count from 6A to what is the maximum value? What is the maximum value?
FF.
FF.
So from 6A to FF, how many clock cycles are required? 150 clock cycle required. So to reach the maximum value, 150 clock cycles. So that is specified in the instruction. Okay. So the calculation is here. So the particular delay routine will generate, that is 150 clock cycles are required. So the particular delay routine will generate 150 clock cycle into your microcontroller time period. You will be getting 162 microseconds. Please note it down. So, and according to the program, your higher portion is twice that of the lower one. So they have used to call a call delay routine. 2 times the delay is called. So we have 66% of duty cycle for your on period. Okay. So multiply this 162 into 2 for duty cycle calculation. Okay. So 325.5 microsecond for on time, plus on time is 162.25. This is your final answer. So after execution of, that is one time execution, your timer will generate 488.25 microsecond. Converting this into frequency at port 1.0, port 1.0 or 1.3. So port 1.3. So 2 kilohertz frequency square wave will be generated on P1.3. So that is the inference. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So minus 150 means you directly take that value into your calculation. Okay. Multiply that value into 1.085 microsecond. So 162 microsecond. Okay. And they have written a delay routine for your timer. After setting or clearing the port 1.3, so the delay is called. Okay. So 2 times here delay loop will be executed for high period, and low period only 1 time will be executed. So after calculating this value, multiply that value by 2 and add with your off time period. You will be getting this value, convert that time period into frequency. So 2.048 kilohertz square wave will be generated on P1.3 after execution of your program. Is that clear? Do you have any doubts regarding this?
Ma'am, can you explain the last step, ma'am?
இல்லீங்களா இதுலையா see இப்போ நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா எத்தனை டைம் இங்க நம்ம ஆல்ரெடி நம்ம டிலேல பார்த்திருப்போம்ல 2 times இங்க வந்து first time ஒரு கிலோ delay call ஆகுது, second time delay call ஆகுது. So 2 times this loop will get executed. Only 1 time this will be executed. So 100% ல சரிங்களா 66% வந்து for on time, 33% for off time. So you will get 100%. So இங்க வந்து இப்போ already we calculated one time period with your microcontroller 1.085 microsecond, 162 microsecond. So if reason என்னன்னா the high portion is twice that of the low portion. So the high portion நாம என்ன பண்ணனும்னா எப்படி ஸ்கொயர் வேவ் frequency calculate பண்ணுவீங்க, on time plus off time. So for on time 162 into 2, 66% duty cycle. Off time 162.25. So multiply this value, add with it. So on and off add and we will get 1 time period, that is 488.25. So convert that time period into frequency 2.048 kilohertz. So after execution, so 2.04 kilohertz square wave is being generated on your port P1.3. So timer calculation, you have to look at the duty cycle also. That is a very important parameter for timer calculation. Is that clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about other students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So next mode is the split timer mode. So this mode is not widely used in microcontroller environment. And some application, this can be some that is timer shortage applications, timer limitation applications. This can be applied. Here, your timer 0 in mode 3 is split into two 8-bit timers. That is your timer 0. So timer 0 has two 16-bit timers, TH0, TL0. Okay. So each one can operate as separate timers. So TL0 is a separate timer, TH0 is a separate timer. So TL0 and TH0 act as separate 8-bit timers. And in case of TL0, the flag, overflow flag associated with this is TF0. So TF0 is assigned to TL0. And for TH0 timer, TF1 is assigned to TH0. So your timer 0 is separated into two timers. So we need two overflow flags. So TF0 is assigned to TL0 and TF1 is assigned to TH1. So TH, that is your timer 1 is the standalone timer. So timer 1 is stopped in mode 3 because the TF1 is utilized by your TH0. So your timer 1 is stopped in mode 3. So that is the limitation of your split timer. So this overflow flag will not be affected by this timer operation. Timer 1 oda operation நடந்துட்டு இருந்துச்சு அப்படினா this overflow flag will not be affected because this overflow flag is assigned with your timer 0 higher order timer. Okay. So we can use timer 1 as a serial baud rate generator. Okay. So the only the benefit of this mode 3 is we can have 3 timers. That is timer 1. Okay. So this is the separate timer. TL0 is the one of the timer and TH0 is the one of the timer. So 3 timers we have in this. And the timer that is limitation is the suppose when timer 1 is reached any overflow condition, the TF1 will not be affected. Is that clear? So this mode is not widely used. So this case split timer is same logic diagram. The only the difference is our timer TH1, TL1 can be separate timer. Okay, this is timer 1 and TL0 is the another one. TH0 is the another one. So we have 3 timer modes. For TL0, TF0 is assigned. TH1, TF1 is assigned. When the overflow flag is reached, your TF1 will hold TH0 overflow. Similarly, TF0 will hold TL0 overflow. So let's do the first problem. Just you read out the problem. Assume that the external oscillator frequency is 11.059 megahertz. Write a program to generate square wave of 2 kilohertz frequency on P1.5 for 3 cases. First case, use timer 0 in 13-bit timer mode. Case 2, use timer 0 in 16-bit timer mode. Case 3, use timer 0 in 8-bit oscillator. Okay. So I will explain this problem step by step. Okay. So what is the frequency? 2 kilohertz frequency. So according to the problem, case 1, timer 0 in 13-bit mode. Case 2, timer 0 in 16-bit mode. Case 3, timer 0 in 8-bit. So what is the first step? Please tell me how to program your timer in different modes. So we have discussed many programs. Huh? First,
If you load the value 0, 1,
first we have to load the T mod value. Please note out the step. First, we need to calculate find out the T mod value, and that value should be loaded into your timer. Second step, calculate the initial value of the timer by using the frequency. Initial value of time. So that is the second step. Third step, load the value into TH0 and TL0. Fourth step, after loading the value, monitor the overflow flag status continuously. So when TF0 is equal to 1, stop the timer and generate square wave on P1.5. So you toggle this P1.5, and seventh step, clear the overflow flag and go back to step number 3. So we will find out the values one by one. First you find out T mod. So what is the T mod value for 13-bit time? Find out T mod. So G, C bar P, M1, M0, G, C bar P, M1, M0. This is for timer 0 and this is for timer 1. So which timer is involved in this problem? Timer 0 or timer 1?
timer 0.
Zero. So what is the T mod value in case of 13-bit timer mode? For 13-bit timer mode, these 4 values are going to be 0. What about G? G is 0. C bar T is? What is C bar T?
0.
0. M1, M0?
0.
0, 0.
What is the T mod value for 13-bit timer? 0, 0. For 16-bit timer, find out.
0, 0, 0, 1. 0, 0, 0, 1.
0, 0, 0, 0, 1. What is the answer? 0, 1. 8-bit auto reload.
Mode 2.
Mode 2. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. What is the answer?
0.
0, 2.
So for 13-bit timer mode, you have to load this 0, 0 to T mod register. So 16-bit timer mode, load 0, 1. 8-bit auto reload, load 0, 2. Okay. So what is the next step? So next step, you have to calculate the initial value of the timer. So what is the frequency is given? So what is the frequency given in the problem?
Kilohertz.
2 kilohertz. So first you convert this frequency into time period.
.5 milliseconds.
0.5
Milliseconds.
millisecond. So can we write this 0.5 millisecond into 500 microsecond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 500 microsecond. Your time period is 500 microsecond. So since the square wave is involved, so it is divided into 250 microsecond plus 250 microsecond. On time, and off time. Okay. So how do you calculate this n value? So now time period is calculated. So how do you calculate this n? So what is the maximum value of your 13-bit timer?
819.
8192. 8192 minus 250 microseconds divided by 1.085 microseconds. So find out the answer.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what? And for calculating the n value, why we are using 8192, ma'am?
So 13-bit time, this is the maximum value, Nama.
Okay, ma'am.
For you refer this table. First table. So this is the formula. Last class I have explained, no, to calculate the initial value of the timer. So this is the formula. Maximum value, first maximum value minus timer generated delay divided by 1.085 microseconds. So you have to refer the slide number 35 for calculating initial value of the timer, and you refer the slide. So this is for your timer delay calculation. So initial value is given, you have to calculate the time or frequency. Okay. So what is the answer for n?
7961.
7961
61.
or 62?
61.
Huh?
7961.5.
61. Okay, 61. Okay, 0.5 you consider as 62. Okay. Convert this value into hex. So what is the answer?
1F, 1E.
1F, 1A. So this is the 16-bit value. How can you convert this value into 13-bit? The 13-bit mode is involved. Have you all noted the steps?
Yes.
Have you all noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have to convert this value into 16-bit. Okay. Sorry, 13-bit. So what is the value? 1F, 1A. So write it in binary 0001 4F 0001 1010. So according to your 13-bit timer, the last 5-bit is must be loaded into your lower order register. Last 5-bit, and 8-bit should be loaded into higher order register. You have to separate the number into 8-bit and 5-bit. Last 5-bit alone you take. So this is your last 5. And next 8-bit alone you have to consider. Discard these 3 bits. Now your 16-bit value is converted into 13-bit. Is that clear? So only for 13-bit timer, just you calculate the 16-bit value, convert that value into 13-bit by discarding last 3 digits. Okay. So your last 5 digit 11010. So what is the hexadecimal? 1A. Okay. So your higher order value, lower order value is 1A. Okay. And enter your 8-bit values. 8-bit is 5 ones. 1, 1, 1, 5 ones, 3 zeros. So what is the value? F F8. F8 is the MSB value. So the converted value was F8 1A after discarding the values. So this 1A should be loaded into PL0 and F5 should be loaded into H. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear? So in this way, we can calculate the 13-bit timer initial value. So first calculate the T mod value. Second step, you convert this frequency into time period and divide the time period by 2 because the square wave is involved. Okay, and divide this 250. Either you can take on and off. So 250 microsecond divided by 1.085 microsecond, and that value should be subtracted from 8192. You will be getting 7962. Convert this value into hexadecimal 1F 1A. So this is in 16-bit form. We need to convert the 16-bit value into 13-bit value. So for that, you write it in binary and you take 5-bit and 8-bit and remaining 3 bits. That is your D15, D14 and D13 are discarded, and convert this binary into hexadecimal. We will be getting F818. So this will be the initial value for 2 kilohertz timer, the 2 kilohertz frequency. Okay, is that clear? So can you calculate the value for 16-bit and 8-bit timer using the same formula? So instead of this 8192, in case of 16-bit timer, you have to use 65536. In case of 8-bit timer, 256. Please do it and put your answers in the chat box for 16-bit and 8-bit timer, initial value of the timer. So what is the answer for 16-bit? So 16-bit just 65536. 8-bit 256. So what is the answer for this?
65,306, ma'am.
1 second. So what is the answer for 65536?
65,306 in decimal value, ma'am.
65,306. Okay.
FF
F1. All of you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Students, please
Yes,
check
ma'am.
the answer. For 8-bit timer mode, what is the answer?
25.58.
In decimal, please tell me in decimal.
25.5.
20?
5.58.
Okay, 26. Okay. So what is the hexadecimal value?
1A, ma'am.
1A. So according to the calculation, okay, we have got 13-bit timer initial value 1F, 1A. Sorry, F8, 1A. 16-bit FF, 1A. 8-bit 1A. Okay. So the programming state, already we have calculated T mod value. So first I will write the code for 13-bit timer. Okay. So the first instruction is move T mod, comma, #00. Okay. Next we have to load the values. Move TL0, comma, #1A. Move TH0, comma, the higher order value is F8, #1A, F8. Please note it down. So these three instructions are for configuring your timer 0 in 13-bit timer mode, and also the initial values are loaded into TL0 and TH0. Okay. After loading this value, you have to start the timer by using set bit TR. So set பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் என்னப்பா பண்ணணும்? What will be the display? So your timer gets started. So next you are going to monitor which one?
Overflag.
Overflow flag. So jump over TF now. So continuously monitor the overflow flag by incorporating jump normal TF0, comma L1. So once overflow flag is set, so what we will do next?
Stop the timer, ma'am.
Again here square wave is involved, so you have to complement C. So after this, complement P1.5 for square wave direction. Okay. So after complementing, your overflow flag is set to 1. So stop the timer and clear the overflow flag. And HAMP L2. So L2 comes here. This is the code for 2 kilohertz square wave generation, 13-bit timer. For 16-bit timer mode, just you change the values alone. FF1A remaining will be the same. Only you have to change the initial value of the timer in case of 16-bit mode. Okay. In 8-bit mode, don't initialize this instruction. Sorry. Don't initialize this T. You have to load the value into TL0, TH1, sorry, TH0, comma 1A. So don't load any value into lower order register. So this instruction should be incorporated. Move TH1, comma #1A. But the loop is this L2 should come here. There is no need of reloading the value again, because 8-bit mode is the auto reload mode. So 8051 will take care of reloading the value. So the code change in the 8-bit mode is L2 should come to this place instead of this one. So remaining thing will be same. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So for 13-bit timer, initialize tmod value, load your value, start the timer, monitor the overflow flag. Overflow flag is set, complement the port, stop the timers, clear the overflow flag. In 16-bit timer, just you change the initial value of the timer. Remaining logic will be the same. 8-bit auto reload, load your 8-bit value into higher order register. Don't initialize your lower order register. Only the thing is, user side, we need not reload the values again. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Do you have any doubts regarding this timer modes?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So tomorrow there is no class. 6th hour, you don't have any classes. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Ma'am, for
Malasunya.
submission of experiment 5 and 6, ma'am, there are 2 attachment columns in the Google Classroom, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, one the next week.
For submitting string manipulation or ADC.
Both, ma'am. ரெண்டுமே இன்னைக்குள்ள சப்மிட் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும் ma'am.
Sir, I will extend the date. I will convey this to Dhanalakshmi madam.
Okay, ma'am.
Today is the last date you கொடுத்திருக்காங்களா?
Yes, ma'am. 2 காலம் இருக்குங்க ma'am. ஒண்ணுல வந்து next week கொடுத்திருக்குங்க ma'am. டியூ அப்புறம் இன்னொன்னுல இன்னைக்கு டியூ இருக்குங்க ma'am.
Okay. I will change that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.